Like, home canned goods are safe as long as the seal remains intact.
It's reversible.
With a best before
The
date
one
of
that
quality.
Oh, that's cute.
So if you
I
have
think,
food
yeah, it even has
that you're like,
pockets on
oh, well,
both
this is expired. Is it really expired?
I just wish it
Or
was
is
in
And you
That's
know,
big, right?
that would be
It's still good.
so easy to
That's
make.
probably like
It's
their,
one
like,
layer and
oh
you
my
put the
gosh,
pockets
you're
on
welcome.
and then you do another layer and then you turn it inside
Yeah.
out with this in the middle of your,
Whatever.
where you turn it inside out.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so easy.
I still can't.
They're about to be. They're about to have this.
Oh, Ted asked me this morning, do you need an
There you go.
extra one? I was like, well, Natasha hasn't said anything. I
I'll
was
come over.
I should have.
It's gonna be. I think they're gonna start it next week.
Actually, Brandon did TJ Maxx this morning because I thought surely they will have something like that.
Right.
No.
Okay, we're gonna get started, because we have a lot to get through today. And
Okay.
we won't be done at the 12. If you wanna stay, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay. I'll talk you through what's going to happen, either way. So we are going to pressure can, and what temperature does water boil at?
Wait,
212. Thank you,
Oh,
Kevin.
thank you.
You are not in this class, go away. At 212. But that is not a safe temperature to kill all the bacteria and germs that can get to us. So we pressure can to bring it up to 250 degrees, because under pressure, it can get hotter. Do you have a chair?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
propped on it. I'm
Okay.
like, thank you.
You're welcome.
What you said, 250.
It goes up to 250, that's why we pressure can. To get it to a heat, and it has to be able to penetrate all the way through. And that's why we're talking about the density of food. That's why you do cubes and not a mush. So if I wanted to do ground beef,
To
I
me, that
can,
doesn't make sense though. How does it get through cubes but not through?
thank you. I have the
That
same
doesn't make
question,
sense.
and I was up to 11 o'clock last night trying to find answers to that, because I'm like, this is stupid. And I'm arguing with Grok on my phone, going, this is stupid. So, but that's what, they haven't tested and said it's bad. They haven't tested enough to say it's okay. So if there are no tests, say you wanted to do, like they have the turduckens, right, or whatever it is, the duck and the turkey, and they haven't tested it and said, oh, this is safe, they're gonna say, it's not safe, don't do it, because they haven't tested it. So, my rant I ended up going on last night was, just give me the time for each individual item, and then whichever is the most restrictive, that's what I'll do. And we're gonna do that today, because we are going to can chicken thighs, rabbit, and meatloaf. So meatloaf is too
Wow.
dense. So what I did is I turned it into meatloaf balls.
okay.
I have ketchup inside, but I don't have like a glaze over top. That'll have to come later. I'll mix up some brown sugar, mustard, and ketchup to pour over top like you normally do. Instead of bread, because wheat can become an issue when it's canned, I used oats. And I didn't use egg, instead I used some beef broth. So that's how I'm binding it together. So each one of those, we're going to can together, and they have different temperatures, and we're gonna do pints today, just so I can get more. So if I have ground or chopped meat, which is beef, pork, lamb, or venison, for a pint, it's 75 minutes. If I have, this is not the one I looked at. This says if I have poultry, it's 75 minutes. The book says 65 minutes, so I might have typed it wrong. And rabbit is also 65 minutes. So it says in my book, and I'll update that. And trust the book more than my note, okay?
What does rabbit taste like? I've
Chicken.
never- Okay.
So I have pan fried it. I've made rabbit stew, and we've had smoked rabbit, which, if anybody has a smoker, you want rabbit. I'm telling you.
Because I've looked at meat rabbits, but I've never.
It's,
I've
I don't
made it, and
shoot
I'm
them
like, I
in
don't
the
know if
wild.
I would.
I raise them.
I think they're delicious.
Yeah.
I
I've
like
thought about-
rabbit.
Having like meat rabbits,
So you
because you
have
can use
pet
the
rabbits
as
that you
cold
eat.
compost and.
They are not pets. They have no names.
They're not pets if you don't name them.
True.
See, I would have to hunt them because they
Never.
would all have names at my house. They would have to be some, I don't know.
You have a million chickens. Are they all have names? Do you know who's who? Oh my goodness.
They're just, I mean, they are for egg laying, like,
Okay.
That's different.
yeah, we talked about meat chickens too,
Yeah.
But
Meat chickens, they live for 8 weeks and then you
Yeah.
slaughter, so that's easy. You
Yeah.
don't have time to get a personality.
yeah, somebody was like, they're ugly, so you won't get attached to them. I'm like, you do not know me like that.
Okay, so my rabbits don't have names. I don't know their personalities. Hello, thank you. This is for a different class for financial peace. They live in colonies, so they're very happy. You know, they're running around, being a happy rabbit life. They get fresh greens or hay every day along with their pellets and their water. They're happy rabbits. And then when we go to slaughter them, we take them out and we cuddle them and we pet them and calm them down. And they're used to us because we're in there all the time. And when we put them down, we pet them and we get them nice and calm. And then you put a broomstick over their head and we'll break their neck. And they are calm. They don't realize what's coming and it happens real fast. You didn't know you were going to get a lesson on butchering, did you? Hello.
Drew said that last time we talked.
Right?
She was explaining what happens to the people that are late.
I'm like, I can feel my
Yeah.
This isn't making it any better. Drew
Back
said,
out here.
when me and you were talking about it, he said, I don't know if I could raise rabbits and then kill them, I'll get attached. And I was like, you of all people.
I know, right? Right?
Listen, if it came down to it, I could do the things that need to be done.
Okay.
Brandon there.
So anyway, we're doing chicken thighs. We're doing meatloaf balls, and the reason is because if I pack it densely, the same thing with a puree of squash, they don't know that it's going to get all the way through. So now that I have air all around, not air because we're going to add liquid, all around it, it's giving room for the heat to get through so that I know for a fact that these are going to be completely done. So if I look at the book, it says, pints and quarts, okay. I'm doing chicken or rabbit with a weighted gauge, which I'll explain in a minute. If I do, which is my pints and quarts, okay. If I do a quart, it takes, what am I missing? Pints, quarts. I'm doing pints. Okay, thank you. I do 60 minutes with bones, because I'm doing it with bones. And then if I go to the meat, I'm processing pints at 75 minutes, where my note says 75 for both. So on this one, in the book, which is the official guide, it says 60 minutes for chicken. That's the processing time. But we're gonna do 75 minutes because I'm also gonna have some beef in there. Yes.
So then if you were doing like chicken breast or chicken legs or something like that, it would be different?
No, chicken.
Okay. Chicken, period.
Chicken.
Got it.
With bones or without bones is the difference.
Okay.
And for some reason, with bones, takes 5 minutes less time than I know. I
Okay.
don't understand.
Hmm.
They tested it. I don't know. I don't know. So if anyone wants to look at this later, I'm gonna stick it over here. Oh, I don't need this either. Okay, we're doing 75 minutes. Who's gonna remind me later? Because I usually do quarts, and that's 90 minutes, so somebody remind me it's gonna be 75 minutes.
All right.
Couple different pressure canners, and this is probably the one you guys are gonna get because you can get this at Walmart. It has a lid with this rubber ring. This rubber ring goes bad. It lasts max 2 years. What you need to do is very, very, very slightly, you're gonna oil it, very slightly. It just helps it seal. And then you stick it back in here.
And I'm assuming when the seal goes bad, of course you'll know that because it doesn't seal.
Which is a waste of time and energy because it's not going to seal.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't use this one anymore.
So where can we buy just the seal?
Ace Hardware,
Okay.
yes. Know what you have. Always, always, always keep your insert. You
Okay.
need this. Have a drawer with booklets that you absolutely need or whatever. You're going to, it has a vent pipe right here. You're going to make sure that that's not blocked, right? I just glue on it because I'm not using this one. I wouldn't do that otherwise. You can look to see if you have air through it. It has a pressure release valve. When it is under pressure, that will be up. When there's no pressure, it'll be down. If you push it down, it'll give resistance and pop right back up. This is a safety feature. Remember, grandmas were afraid to can because they would blow up? They didn't have this.
That would, I would imagine anyways, that would also tell you if your seal was bad because it would never
Pop up.
pop up. Okay.
There it is. We also have the rack in the bottom, right? It comes with that. This is going to be different than the one I'm using. This isn't a weight. It is a weight, but it doesn't say, huh? Right, it doesn't have a gauge. This, it will. I'm going to take that out. But this is going to rock, and you know that it's going. If it stops for a long period of time, like for a minute, your temperature's not up enough, you're supposed to start all over again. I would rather have it jiggle a lot than
Yeah.
go too low. It only needs to jiggle once every 20, 30 seconds, 20 seconds maybe, slowly. But I don't do that because I'm afraid I don't have gas. I have electric, which is a pain. So I put mine up a little higher and let it jiggle the heck out of it. The reason for the rack is, for who weren't here last week, if your jars are directly on the bottom, it gets too hot and they could break and burst. So we give it a little bit of room. We have to have something in between. If you don't have one of these, you can put rings down and set them on top of that. You can put a towel down. That would work. So in addition to that, it also has a gauge. If you are going to use a pressure canner that has this kind of a weight, that doesn't tell you what it is, it's just, don't hold it down there, it is a weight, it's not, doesn't say what it is. You need to have a gauge. The gauge needs to be, take it to the county extension office once a year and get them to test it. You probably need an appointment for this. And it just, I put it in a box when I'm not using it, it screws on here, screws underneath, and you're gonna go by the pressure gauge. And that's, temperatures are in every book. It's gonna be in the information that I give you. But, yeah, you would need to go by this. So if it says 10 pounds of pressure, which is usually what we use at this altitude for canning, if I was in a higher elevation, I might need 15 pounds of pressure. And then what that does is it brings that much pressure, brings the temperature up. Remember, we talked about that. So more pressure, you can get a higher heat. And at higher elevations, there's not as much pressure, so you need a higher pressure on your canner. So there's that, and you can use this to tighten it up. If you decide to upgrade, don't get rid of your pot. It makes the best big pot for chilies and soups and stews, and you can use it for that also.
Literally a constant struggle at my house.
To find a big enough pot? Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
I had the teeniest, tiniest little pot. My grandmother bought us one for Christmas, and like something was off with it. My husband threw it, and so now I'm back to like this like teeny tiny pot. I'm like every single time I try to make chicken and dumplings, pulls under.
Right. And you need a thick pot so that things don't burn. Right. There's an arrow on one of the handles. There's an arrow right here, on here, that's like engraved in. You line those up, and then it fits nicely, and then you would tighten it. Okay? When, like we talked last week, a hot food needs to be in hot jars into a hot canner. We are going cold. We're starting cold. I'm going to pull stuff out of the refrigerator. So I'm going to have cold water. The jars are already washed. I don't need to sterilize these because they will sterilize while they're cooking.
Okay.
This is only for pressure canning. For water bath canning, you have to sterilize, which is boiling in water for 10 minutes. So those are washed. What am I remembering thinking? Okay, So what you do is you put 1 to 2 inches of water in the bottom, and that's the reason I need this book, because I can never remember how much I need for my canner. And it's different for each one, and that's an important, really important thing to remember. Some canners have a line engraved in it, like here where it has the arrow engraved in the lid. Some of them have a line engraved to tell you water to here, and it's not very much. Mine does not. So I have to have, and this is what we're going to use, the All-American. So I have my handy dandy ruler with 2 inches marked, and yes,
Is that water after you've put the jars in or before?
before.
Got it.
Before. That's what I was talking about, hot and cold. So if I have something that I'm putting in cold, the thermal shock between hot and cold can burst your jars. I had just watched a video before last week. We met on Saturday. On Friday, I had watched this video. The lady had canned everything. She did perfect. She took them out. She set them on her cold counter, and they exploded. And she had boiling whatever and shards of glass everywhere. She was in bad shape. So you have to be careful. No thermal shock. Hot with hot, cold with cold. Okay, so let me get rid of this.
Do you ever can in that one?
Not anymore.
Why don't you use that one?
Because even when I got it new, the seal didn't always seem to work. And it would, and it wouldn't, and it would, and it wouldn't. And I would spend all day and maybe get one thing processed when I planned on doing 4.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is crazy. So I went and I got a new seal, and the same thing happened. So one thing you're also going to want to look for is to make sure that it's not warped in any way. So I upgraded to the smallest All-American canner.
All-American is the brand?
The brand. If you have a big savings account, get this. Get the bigger one. This isn't big enough for me. But I can't afford another one, so this is what we get.
What are the
How much
prices?
are they?
Yeah.
This one's, when I got it, was around 400, about 5 years ago. It was a big investment. That one's 100. Big investment. But where that seal wears out, this doesn't have a seal. We don't have anything to wear out. These screw down to hold it down. I can change these out if I need to. It's just, the screw will stay there. I would just change the knob. This knob comes all the way off. For this one, same thing, everything lines up right. I don't have it on right. We have the gauge, just like before. You see that?
Thank you.
But I also have a weight, and on here it has a 5, 10, and a 15. So I will need 10 pounds of pressure, so I stick the 10 on. And then if I didn't have this, or if this was broken, not a problem, because I know how much pressure I have. So when I do my turkeys, which we're going to pressure cook in here, turkeys, I'm going to cook them at 15 pounds, just because it infuses more moisture and more flavor into it. But when we're canning, we're going to can at 10 pounds of pressure. And there's also a 5, and I haven't ever run across anything that was 5 pounds of pressure.
And it'll tell us in the book when we're doing our recipes of whatever, do it at this many pounds?
Yes,
Got
it
it.
does. Oh, this much pressure, this many pounds. And it will give you both, because sometimes you don't have a pressure gauge, sometimes you don't have a weight.
Okay.
So the weight on the other one.
Doesn't say what it is. I don't have my book. I don't know what it was. I'm sure it was probably for 10 pounds of pressure, but I don't know, because I didn't save my book. And I haven't used it since
But essentially that takes place of
of this.
pressure. Okay.
This
The
gauge.
gauge.
And it has it both. But this is nice to know, because I know my pressure is going up. I'm watching it. Things are good. So we're going to start by putting our rack in the bottom. I'm going to inspect my lid, make sure it doesn't look warped. I'm going to check that I can see light through my vent here, so that it has a pressure release. And this doesn't pop up. This acts as the pressure. No, this is the pressure release. This rubber seal right here can, if anything happens to it, it can be replaced. That will pop up if the pressure gets so bad, that will just pop out. And also on this one, very rarely, you want to run a little bit of oil around here. I've never had a problem with it, but I'm going to do it just because I probably did it 4 years ago. But just that much oil. And I'm just going to run it along that steel. Not much at all. I'm going to put cold water in here.
Need a pot filler.
Thank you. My neighbor has one, my husband said no.
What is a pot filler?
It's above your stove and you pull it out.
Oh.
And I've got my thermometer in here, my ruler in here, because I don't have a line, which is stupid. They should have a line. The lady I follow that I learned so much more from, more than the class I went to. I follow this lady and hers has that line. It's an All-American and I'm like, I feel gypped.
That was a $50 option.
It probably was.
Yeah.
It probably was. And this sucker's heavy.
What was the class that you took? What was it called?
The Master Food Preservers course.
I've been trying to tell people and I'm like, I can't remember.
And it's through the county extension service, and every state has a county extension service. Ours is on Veterans Road. They do the Master Gardeners, they do the 4-H, that sort of thing. I don't know that they have that course here, but they could get my gauge tested for me. There we go. And I'm not putting food in here, so I don't mind putting this in here. So, and it's not sanitized or anything like that, so that's fine. When I put it on the stove, I'm going to put it so the label's near me because that's where my indent is, my arrow. So I need to be able to see that. Stick this over here for now. I've got the weight so I don't forget it. The weight does not go on yet. So let's take that down. What we are going to do,
Question.
yes,
Do you put vinegar in it whenever your pressure cooks?
yes. And why do we put vinegar in?
To keep the build up
Right.
potassium or whatever water build up.
Right. I see. And I have my vinegar right here,
White vinegar or?
white vinegar. So what happens is when you don't add vinegar, you get the sediment stuff in the water that like builds up, the calcium. You get that all over the inside of your canner, all over your jars, and it does not wash off. So, thank you for reminding me. I had it out for that, but I had forgotten.
I just didn't know if there was a difference with the pressure and the.
No. And have a checklist, because especially new, you'll forget. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'd forgotten that. I don't know if I would remember. Wash hands.
I'm just waiting to see if you did it, and then you didn't know what I want to ask.
Thank you. Hopefully I would have remembered later. But I don't. This canner will hold 7 jars on the bottom and 3 on top. So we are going to do 10 jars.
And I would imagine as long as the whatever is in the jars gets cooked at the same pressure and temperature and whatnot, it doesn't matter what's in the jar necessarily, right?
Correct. So, with the chicken and the rabbit, that's supposed to be 65 minutes, and we're doing 75 minutes,
Uh-huh.
it's going to be more tender.
Oh,
So
okay.
if that's not a problem, which is also what happens when you pressure cook at a higher weight, at a 15 weight, it's more tender. So,
So you could take a really
Grab that one.
cheap
thank you.
type of meat,
Yes.
like a very cheap stringy kind of beef,
Yes.
and just pressure can it more at a higher pressure and whatnot, and it'll be more tender.
Right.
Huh.
Okay.
Where's the garbage can?
Under me.
Oh.
Well, under the sink. Okay, so we're going to start with So I made up the meat last night and I browned it. But I only browned it, I didn't cook it. My hands are clean, I'm just gonna stick them in the jars before we get there.
So you don't completely cook it before you can it?
No, I'm just browning it so it looks better and not gray. You know how cooked meat can look gray?
Yeah.
And that's why we brown it. I don't want it to look gray in my jar. I won't want to eat it.
So then you cook it then after you take it out of the jar?
I'm going to pressure. It's going to be cooked when it's canned. It's going to be at 250 degrees for 75 minutes.
So once we do that, that is
It's
edible
cooked.
right out of the can if you
Let
wanted
me
to.
show you something.
Really?
But what's the difference between browning and cooking?
It's just,
It's-
it's still red, it's still like raw.
Yeah.
So you're
It's
just,
like
you have it on like
time.
a higher heat and you're just browning the outside.
It's like searing steak.
Yeah, equivalent.
You know when you do a pot roast and you
No,
just
I-
sear it on the
Yeah,
stick?
that's
Oh.
what you-
I did not
It's
just
like
stop
when
there.
they cook steak and you want it like medium rare or whatever in the middle. It's essential.
I need some
So
more beef
like-
broth anyway. And you can can your home beef broth, save your stuff.
I don't know.
This is turkey that went in. It's cooked. This is beef stroganoff. It looks real watery, but it's cooked. It cooks in there.
That is the coolest stinking thing ever.
So is that gluten free since you're using oatmeal
Yes.
and that breadcrumbs?
Yes. And I'll add that recipe. I wasn't going to, but I was like, okay, how do I do this and teach you guys an approved method rather than what I was going to do? And I'm like, I can't teach them wrong. What can I do? And so came up with this one.
So for a busy mom who's got 4 kids, they could spend one day on Saturday pre-cooking all of their meats and whatnot for like the whole month in a day and not even have to cook everything necessarily because it's going to cook in there.
Yes, you just gotta heat it up.
Holy cow.
So 2 years ago, I learned about the method I'll teach you in November about pressure cooking a frozen turkey in 90 minutes. Yes, you'll see. That's what that is. And then you just can that up. Even though it's already cooked, you can that up.
You pressure can.
You pressure can.
Yeah.
It's cooked because I pressure cooked it for 90
Yeah.
minutes and then I pressure can it for 90 minutes. And what I do is I'll cook and I'll cook and I'll cook and I'll keep putting it in the fridge, and then have a big day of canning and just to get through them. So I did 6 turkeys 2 years ago. It lasted me half a year because Kevin's like, this is so easy. This is so easy.
Yeah.
This is so easy. Last year when turkeys were on sale, I didn't have any money. I'm like, I can't. I didn't even get one done. I was actually I did get one done. One. I was really disappointed. I was crying. I'm like, I feel poor. I don't care that there's money in savings. I don't care that there are investments. I have no cash. I can't do this. I can't afford it. So I save $25 every single month for November. So I can go turkey shopping. And I'm planning to get 10 to 12 turkeys and do a year's worth of meat. So yeah. And I won't have turkey every night,
Right.
but
It's canned. So I mean,
It'll
you
be
can,
canned.
whenever you want it, you can.
Okay, so my real question.
Yeah.
So, this is probably my problem. I'm a eater.
okay.
What in the world are you going to eat that with?
Oh,
we will get there.
everything.
Okay. Do you like
I
turkey
could-
sandwiches?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
Do you like
sort of.
turkey with mashed potatoes? Do you like turkey?